Hey there, my name is Anthony Romano, and in this video I'm going to tell you how ketogenic dieting keeps you lean year-round. And basically, if you're into fitness and bodybuilding, if you maintain a ketogenic diet, it's pretty much impossible for you to get fat, and you can continue making steady muscle gains. And even if you go over your maintenance calories, you'll still be lean and ripped year-round. So obviously, many people do the ketogenic diet for fat loss purposes, but it goes hand in hand that you can do this for staying lean year-round. So there are many tactics people have to stay lean year-round, but most of them end up being restrictive in one way or another because you are limited to the amount of calories you can eat, you can't really go over your maintenance, and you basically have to reverse diet back. And even though reverse dieting is still a component of any time where you've just gotten ripped and you want to maintain, with a ketogenic diet, you don't necessarily have to be meticulously counting everything when you're done once you've already gotten lean. If you're eating the same way you were then, you can basically ride that out, and even if you go over your calories, you're still going to remain lean for the most part, mainly due to the fact of how keto affects your metabolism and how it affects your hormones. So the hormones in particular for today are going to be insulin, okay, and also glucagon. So with insulin and glucagon, typically, people have the reverse of insulin and glucagon ratios when they're doing a carb-based diet. So if you do a fat loss diet and you get lean, because this video is focusing particularly on after you've gotten the results you want and you want to stay lean, okay? That's what it's focusing on. Because you can still mosey along on a keto diet and get ripped, but it would take longer, and after a precise fat loss cut, if you want to stay lean, you can still go over your calories a little bit, your maintenance calories, with a keto diet because of insulin and glucagon, and other factors as well, but I'm going to focus on those two today and how it affects your metabolism. So, with insulin and glucagon, insulin is primarily viewed as the fat storage hormone, and glucagon is the fat mobilization hormone. It basically raises the concentration of fatty acids in your blood. So, when you do a ketogenic diet, your body changes to a fat metabolism. Okay, many people know this. If you've seen my videos, I talk about it all the time. Fat metabolism is when your body primarily uses fat, and it will slightly store little bits of carbs from excess protein and from green vegetables you're eating, and store those carbs in your muscles for use later. So you still have a decent amount of carbs, but you're just not really eating many besides vegetables. So when you're primarily using fat, your body doesn't have much desire to stock up on carbs. And when you have too much insulin, right, insulin gets released as a response to carbohydrate consumption, is one of the ways that it gets released. So when you have too much insulin, you're going to store fat. And when you start a ketogenic diet, you're going to flip that ratio. You're going to have more glucagon production than you did before. And you're going to have lower insulin, more stable insulin than you did before. You're not going to get rid of insulin altogether. That's a myth. You are just going to stabilize and lower your levels of insulin, because you get insulin release whenever you eat any food. Doesn't matter if it's not carbohydrates, you will release insulin in smaller doses to any meal. And your glucagon overall is going to increase. So even if you increase your calories, because a lot of people are wrapping their head around the calorie model of fat loss, and calories are a primary driver of fat loss. But you have to realize here, why are calories the primary driver of fat loss? One of the reasons is that if you eat too many calories, your insulin response to all that food is going to be greater. So if you eat in a surplus for too long, and many of it is processed carbs, even if it's not, if you eat 1 billion calories, your insulin response is going to be higher than if you ate only 500 calories over your maintenance. So if you eat 10,000 calories over your maintenance, your insulin response is going to be higher. And this is why overall, it's hard to say. There's no scientific determination of calories are the driver of fat loss, insulin's the driver of fat loss, but we know it's some gray area between the two. It could be influenced by both. If your calories are too high and it's coming from a low insulinogenic source, that would be better for maintaining a lean physique. If your calories are low and they're not too much of a surplus, is what I'm saying, but they're from a very high insulinogenic source, so high processed sugar and stuff, basically what's going to happen is that is less conducive to maintaining a lean physique. So it's this dance between the two that is important to wrap your head around. So with fat metabolism, you're running on fat. You're not going to be consuming too many of these insulinogenic foods in and of themselves. Your insulin production is going to be much more stable and less likely to store fat. Your glucagon, which is the fat mobilization hormone, is going to be increased. And overall, even if you're in a calorie surplus some days, right? Besides the appetite suppressing benefits of keto that keep you kind of always eating at your maintenance, it's harder to gain weight unless you're pounding back like shakes with lots of fat in them, etc., etc. So with those in mind, it's a lot easier to stay lean on keto. But if you were curious about how it actually worked on a scientific level, it's mainly due to those hormonal changes. So overall, if you were to get lean, if you were to get lean on a carb-based diet and then you switch over to a ketogenic diet, you would find that it's way easier to stay the same afterwards. If you compare that to just a carb-based diet and then you try to get back and maintain things, you're going to be hungry all the time. Your blood sugar is still used to being spiked and it's still volatile. You don't want that volatility. That volatility from your blood sugar and your blood insulin when you get lean on a carb-based diet is basically going to make you feel like crap. It's the stabilization that makes you feel better when you're on ketosis, and that's what makes it easier to stay lean down the line, because that leanness and the ability to maintain that appetite suppression, maintain that hormonal balance is going to be influenced by if your blood sugar is going up and down all day long. Because if you're eating too many meals and spiking that insulin and spiking that blood sugar all day long, it's going to be harder to maintain a lean physique. The less you eat and the less carbs you eat will make it easier to maintain a lean physique, just due to how it affects your hunger and how it affects your hunger hormones and your fat storage hormones. So hopefully this gave you some clarity. And overall, any other questions you have for insulin, other hunger hormones, fat loss hormones, fat storage hormones, anything like that on a hormonal side of keto, let me know and I'll get back to you in the comments. I answer everybody. I also have free plans in the description. Going to be coming out with online coaching very soon. And one of the areas I'm going to focus on as well is maintaining a lifestyle that's maximized performance, lean, physique, mental sharpness, everything with that. That's in the keto lifestyle. There's a keto lifestyle coaching I'm going to be offering as well. So basically, it's not just about fat loss. It's not just about lean bulking. It's not just about doing complicated keto cycles. There are many uses for the ketogenic diet besides just the cosmetic purposes. Many people do this for anti-inflammation. They do it for brain function, depression, anxiety. There's a lot of diseases that they can cure with this in combination with fasting. So basically, the ketogenic diet has a lot of purposes, and one of the more simple purposes is that it keeps you ripped year-round. If you want to see your abs year-round and not feel like crap while you're doing it, I will also be offering coaching in that regard, in addition to maximizing other parts of your lifestyle in that same package. So, thank you for watching this video. My name is Anthony Romano. Peace.